Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I want to talk about a very interesting article from Mrs. Brooke Masters, who is an editor and columnist about the Financial Times, which was published back in last Thursday on February 22nd, and which provides plenty of insights, not only for professionals living and working in the United States, but also for CFA candidates as well. And also, I believe that this is a very insightful, I would say insightful development for all of those people who advocate that current interest rates are too high and they should be reduced for a whole host of reasons. And so, according to this article, in last January, the widely known company, International Business Machines, also known as IBM, decided to reopen its defined benefit pension plan to new participants after having it closed, and this fund remained closed since 2005. And not only that, the consultancy Mercer surveyed a number of CFOs, or Chief Financial Officers, of large US companies, and found that 65% of them, so two CFOs out of every three, are also considering reopening the defined benefit plans of their own companies. And 88% of them, which is very, very significant, would do so if they could somehow reduce the risks of such decision. And so for the folks who are a little bit less familiar of how these pension plans work, and to give you some context in this regard, many companies for many decades ago used to have defined benefit pension plans that would provide or basically pay a pension to retired workers until the end of their lives, because back then in the 60s, 70s, 80s, it was common for workers to spend their entire career in the same company. And so when they retire, they would benefit from a pension paid by their own company, which would last, and the regular payments would last until the end of the life of the worker. And so the amount of each pension is based on a specific formula, which is known by all workers. And this formula considers not only the number of years that the worker have stayed with the company, but also the size of his last few salaries. Some formulas may consider the last 3 salaries, the last 5 salaries, the last salary, the last one, the effectively last one. And so this depends, but as you can see by the formula, the longer you stay with the company, the higher is the benefit that you end up being paid. And so this is also an incentive for companies to spend their entire careers with the same company. And so in defined benefit plans, the company bears the risk of having enough assets in the pension plan to pay for the pensions. And not only that, because this is also, of course, this is a benefit for the workers and it's a responsibility of the company. But the other benefit is that workers do not bear any longevity risk. So for the folks who don't know, longevity risk is the risk that you may live longer than your assets. You consume your assets while you're still alive. So this is longevity risk, but you don't have any longevity risk with a defined benefit pension plan, because payments will be done while you are alive. And so there is no longevity risk. And so on the other hand, because these were defined benefit pension plans, on the other hand, and these are the pension plans that replaced the format of defined benefit, the new format that many companies adopted to replace those are the defined contribution plans. Folks in the United States know very well as the 401ks, for example, but there are also some sort of equivalents here in Europe as well. And so in defined contribution plans, the workers devote a portion of their salary and contribute that portion to a retirement account to be invested in a range of investment funds selected by themselves, by the worker himself. And so when they reach retirement age, the accumulated funds in that retirement account are paid to the worker either as a lump sum or in monthly payments. And so there are some employers that match the contribution that the worker does. For example, many companies provide a match, full match. For example, if you as a worker contribute 5% to the pension plan, the employer also contributes the same amount to your retirement account. And so that's the way it usually works. And so the contributions to their retirement accounts accumulate, are invested and are accumulated over time until retirement. But by doing so, the employer has no more obligations here. All right. So as long as they make the contribution, the employer no longer has any commitments towards the worker in retirement. And so the worker bears the investment risk because investments can be risky, can invest in stocks or other risky assets. And so whatever happens in terms of the return, in terms of the performance, that eventually leads to the ending amount upon retirement is the amount that the worker will receive. So the worker is exposed to investment risk. And also because the amount that he gets can be anything, the worker also bears the investment risk because as soon as when the assets run out, the worker or the retired worker may still be alive. And so the worker also bears the longevity risk. And so considering these differences, this is a very significant development because, of course, for the folks who are less familiar, defined benefit pension plans have been progressively discontinued over time, especially for several reasons, but especially because of the increasing costs for companies to maintain these plans, because every time the pension plan becomes underfunded, they have to put money in the pension plan to pay for the pensions of workers. And as you can imagine, due to higher life expectancies and cost of living adjustments due to inflation, these commitments that companies and the contributions that companies need to make are progressively more and more and more, unless the performance of the assets in the plan are very, very good, which does not always happen. But also because it's very difficult to estimate the future liabilities generated by the commitment to pay the pensions. And so you cannot predict with full certainty. You can only make estimates and use assumptions to estimate the amount of pensions that you will pay in the future. And so this is a difficult calculation to make. It requires many assumptions. And so companies wanted to get rid of that. And so that's also one of the reasons why many companies decided to discontinue the defined benefit pension plans. And so they basically closed these pension plans, these defined benefit pension plans to new workers, and they replaced those with 401ks and other defined contribution plans. However, and this is the interesting part for CFA candidates and for the folks who says that interest rates, the current interest rate environment is too high and it's unsustainable. The recent increases in interest rates produced a double positive effect for defined benefit pension plans. Meaning, on one hand, the assets of those pension plans, which are mostly fixed income securities, began to yield higher coupons. So the interest rate or the return in terms of the coupon of those fixed income securities began to increase because, of course, interest rates went higher. And so the amount of assets in the pension plans increased significantly. On the other hand, because interest rates increased, the expected future liabilities of the pension plan, when they are discounted to the present, to the current time, they are discounted at a higher interest rate. And because of that, the expected future liabilities are lower because the rate at which you discount back to the present is higher. And so this created a situation in which the pension plans became overfunded. You see, they became much with much more assets than they needed, and so because of this, what happened was that yeah, it became worthwhile. They became able to provide this benefit again, and so some companies. Basically, and this has increased significantly. A record number of companies use this interest rate environment which is temporary, to transfer their pension funds to insurance companies. So basically, they gave them all the assets, and they also take the future liabilities. And so the insurance companies now use the assets to pay the pensions to the workers, to the retired workers, which is a way that they offload their responsibility to a third party, basically, which are for the most part insurance companies, and they don't have any further charges on this. And so the article also suggests that besides opening up their pension plan, their defined benefit pension plans again, or offloading it to an insurance company, employers can also adopt a third alternative, which is called market-based cash balance plans, which are basically, without going into too much detail, these plans also provide payments for retired workers until the end of their lives, just like defined benefit plans, but the payments are based on the investment returns of the accumulated contributions into the worker's retirement account, just like a defined contribution plan. So this is a hybrid solution, and so the worker can choose to receive. This is an option, of course. The worker can choose to receive the accumulated amount in a lump sum or in regular payments. But the main advantage of this hybrid solution is the investment risk, which is basically the fluctuations in market value of the assets in the retirement account. The investment risk becomes shared between the employer and the worker. All right. And this also mitigates the investment risk if the worker elects to receive the regular payments for life from their retirement account. And so this is a very good way of addressing, of course, the potential issues of longevity risk and the investment risks that comes from straight defined contribution plans, and also, of course, for the benefit of the worker. And so, to sum up all these insights, I agree with what the author of the article says, which is this is a development which is very beneficial, not only for companies but also for workers. On the side of the companies, offering good retirement options for workers, this is a plus because it allows them to attract more talented workers. Right, they stand out from the perspective of talented workers more than their peers who don't offer these sort of benefits. And finally, from the workers' perspective, by providing good retirement benefits, workers that are reaching retirement age but could not afford to retire because they don't have the funds to retire, become able to do so. And this also allows companies to fill those vacant roles and use the savings from the salaries they no longer have to pay to hire new talented workers and younger talented workers, and also to promote skilled workers they already have inside their own companies, which I believe this is something very significant that benefits indirectly also the younger generation, which I believe it's a win-win situation for everyone. And so this is what I wanted to talk about in this video. By the way, let me know if you are preparing for a CFA exam and you need for a level 2 or level 3, and you need me to elaborate a bit more on the differences between defined benefit plans or defined contribution plans, because this is a complex topic for someone who sees this for the first time. And so let me know. Either we can talk about it on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, or if there is such demand that it justifies making a video about it, I will do that. I will be glad to do it for you guys. And so feel free to leave your comments below, and like the video and subscribe. All right. And I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good one. Thank you.